You've seen it 1,000 times, right? On the side of an ambulance, at a clinic, or in a hospital. A snake, or sometimes two, wrapped around a staff. It's so common we don't even really see it anymore. But what if I told you its story is this crazy tangled mix of divine command, ancient mythology, a major historical blunder, and a really profound theological statement? Well, let's unravel this mystery together.
I mean, it's a fair question, isn't it? When you think of healing, snakes probably aren't the first thing that pops into your head. Yet, there it is. Today, we're going to figure this out. We're going to trace the journey of this powerful symbol, all the way from the ancient desert right up to the modern day.
Okay, so first things first, the history here isn't a simple, straight line, not even close. It's this fascinating tangle of divine commands and, honestly, just plain old human confusion that have gotten all mixed up over the centuries. Think of it like we're on a historical detective mission. We're going to look at the original instruction, we'll uncover a really common mix-up that happened not that long ago, and then we'll get to a much deeper meaning that connects this ancient symbol to another one that's even more universal. All right, so to start, we've got to go way, way back, thousands of years to the deserts of the Old Testament. This is where the original snake on a pole makes its debut in history. So here's the scene. The Israelites are in the wilderness. They've sinned, and they're being plagued by these venomous snakes. It's a bad situation. In response, God gives Moses this very specific command: make a serpent out of bronze, put it on a pole, and lift it up so everyone can see it. This thing was actually called the Nehushtan. The process was simple, but it wasn't some kind of magic trick. If you were an Israelite and you got bitten, you had to make a conscious choice to look up at that bronze serpent. That simple act of looking, which was an act of faith in God's plan, is what actually triggered their physical healing from the poison. And this is really the crucial point here. The power was never in the bronze snake itself. It was just a symbol, a focal point for faith. It was a tool for a specific problem at a specific time, and it was designed to point people back to God, the real healer, not to be worshipped as some kind of idol. But you know how it goes. People started missing the point, big time. Centuries later, the Israelites were actually burning incense to the Nehushtan, worshiping the tool instead of the one who provided the cure. It got so bad that King Hezekiah had to destroy it. It's a pretty powerful lesson in how easily a symbol can become an idol. Okay, now let's jump forward in time to ancient Greece. This is where the story gets even more tangled, because we don't just find one, but two very similar snake and staff symbols, and they're right at the heart of all our modern confusion. So let's break this down, because the difference is actually pretty clear once you see it. On one hand, you have the Rod of Asclepius. He was the god of medicine, and his symbol is a single snake on a simple staff. This is the historically correct symbol for healing. On the other hand, you've got the Caduceus of Hermes. It has two snakes plus a pair of wings. Hermes was the god of commerce, travel, and get this, even thieves. Totally different meaning. So you're probably thinking, if it's so clear, how on earth do we get it so wrong? How did the symbol for commerce end up on so many of our ambulances? Well, the answer is a simple but pretty significant historical blunder from the 20th century. Here's what went down. Back in 1902, the U.S. Army Medical Corps mistakenly adopted the two-snake Caduceus as its official logo. And because the military is so influential, that incorrect symbol for commerce started to spread like wildfire. It became super popular, especially in North America, as a symbol for medicine. The proper symbol, the Rod of Asclepius, is still used, but yeah, that mix-up persists to this day. So, okay, we've solved the historical mix-up, but believe it or not, there's an even deeper layer to this whole story that takes us all the way back to that original bronze serpent. The New Testament makes a direct and pretty profound link between what happened in the wilderness and the central event of the Christian faith. And here it is, in the Gospel of John, Jesus himself makes the connection. He says that just like Moses lifted up that symbol of the curse, the snake, for physical healing, he too would be lifted up on a cross. But instead of just offering physical healing, he would be offering eternal life. Now, to really get this, there's this cool theological idea we need to talk about: type and antitype. Think of it this way. A type is like a shadow or a blueprint. It points to something real that's coming later. The antitype is the real thing itself. It's the fulfillment that the shadow was pointing to all along. So if we use that framework, the Nehushtan was the type. It was a symbol of the curse, that deadly serpent, being lifted up to offer a temporary physical life. The cross, then, is the antitype. It's the fulfillment. It represents Christ taking the venom of sin itself on him, and by being lifted up, offering permanent, eternal life. Okay, let's tie all these threads together. We've got the biblical original, the Greek symbols, the modern mix-up, and this incredible theological fulfillment. So what does this all mean when we think about the ultimate symbol of healing? Well, when you lay it all out, you can kind of see what each symbol really stands for. The Nehushtan represents temporary healing through an act of faith. The Rod of Asclepius, that's really about human medical skill and effort. The Caduceus, well, ironically, it now kind of represents the business side of healthcare. And finally, the cross is presented as the symbol for total spiritual restoration. And that, right there, gets to the absolute heart of it. From this point of view, the ultimate goal isn't just fixing a physical problem. True, deep healing is about restoring the whole person, body, soul, and spirit. It's about finding spiritual wholeness. So the next time you see a snake on a pole, you'll know the whole wild and fascinating story behind it. It's a reminder that all our symbols, ancient or modern, are telling a story. And that kind of leaves us with a question to think about. What story are the symbols we choose to elevate really telling about what we value most? Thanks for joining me for this one.